Here's a question I'm being asked a lot these days. Why are our unhoused neighbors suddenly so visible in downtown Fredericksburg? Here's the good news. Homelessness, it's not increasing. For more than a decade, the region has tracked an average of 200 people on the street or in a shelter in a given night. That's incredible, considering how fast this part of the state is actually growing. What has changed is who is homeless, where they are able to be, and what help is available to them. First, let's talk about who. So, fun fact. Chronic homelessness, that's people who have lived unsheltered for a year or more, has decreased by more than 56% in the last 20 years. The difference between chronic homelessness and someone who is new or newer to the street is experience. When you've been on the street a long time, not that that's a good thing, you know how to fly under the radar. You don't carry a lot of bags, you plan ahead for shelter from the weather. You have a better sense of how to stay safe and become good at being invisible. When you are new to the street, you aren't ready to give up your worldly possessions. It hasn't yet occurred to you that some people may not want to see you, and you're afraid. So you choose public lighted places or your most vulnerable activities, like sleeping. Second, let's talk about where. It used to be more common for people to set up camp in wooded areas for a variety of reasons. Complaints, increased land development, behavior issues. Camps don't last long these days. So there are fewer places for people who become homeless to actually be out of sight and out of mind. Last, let's talk about what's actually available to help people. Let's look at both housing and shelter. Those are the two most obvious ways to get an unhoused person under roof. Outside of the pandemic, public funding hasn't increased in almost 10 years, but everything else has. Rent, staff, supplies, utilities, it all costs more. So all of us who care for unhoused neighbors have to do the same work, sometimes more, with a whole lot less. At some point, a nonprofit has to start picking and choosing what it has to do versus what it would really like to do if the resources were different. Some of those decisions in our community have meant reduction in beds, narrowing of target population, and so forth. So while it seems like there's resources out there to keep people off their streets, there's this gaping gap in shelter beds and not enough available units or money to get everyone housed. So now you know. When you see people on the street, it's not that someone's bussing them in. It isn't that anyone did anything wrong. It's who is experiencing homelessness these days. It's where they can physically exist, and it's how the resources have changed to care for them. That, my word on the street.